Welcome to YOGATX. My name is Savannah and we're going to do a video for back pain today. Know that back pain is not something that's the same for everyone. So as we move through some of these breathing exercises and movement exercises, really treat this as a listening practice so that you can connect to what your back is telling you. Pain is often a messenger from the body saying that something needs to be looked at, something needs to be addressed or changed or shifted. So make space for that. This isn't about doing what I say exactly as I say. It's about building that relationship, that communication between breath, body, and your attention of everything that's happening underneath your skin. If you're interested in more videos like this and some more exclusive content geared towards our viewers and their requests, ad-free videos, we've got a project called Yoga Vita that we are going to be releasing some really fun content on, and we'd love for you to join us in that yoga community that we're building. That being said, let's go ahead and start on our backs today. Get our bodies a bit grounded. I have a block that I'm going to use today. You can always use a pillow or a rolled up blanket, a block if you have one. Books even work, stacked up. And we'll set that to the side. Let's come to a position where our knees are bent. And you might notice when you bend your knees, your low back has some more choice. So when you bend your knees, just see if you can move your pelvis. See if you can point your tailbone down to the ground and then guide your tailbone up the back of your legs, imprinting the back of your ribs and the low back on your mat. Once you feel that freedom, notice the difference when your legs are straightened. So when your legs are straight, it's like your low back is pulled into a position. There's not much movement that can happen there. So whenever we start yoga for back pain, I always introduce this knees bent position. We call this constructive rest pose because rest is very productive for our body and our body's pains and aches. Let's go ahead and bring our two index fingers to rest at our navel. Let the rest of your fingers spread out towards your lower abdomen. Maybe you find a grounding point on the ceiling to connect your gaze to, or if you're comfortable, you might start your practice with your eyes closed. Complete your exhale here. And on your next breath in, follow the breath down towards the belly, expanding up towards your fingers. Start your exhale with your navel drawing back towards your spine. Each time you breathe in, allow your abdomen to relax, ribs expanding with the breath. Hold some of that expansion in the rib cage as you exhale, navel to spine. And then feel the ribs hug in towards each other, getting rid of the rest of your breath. And a couple of rounds like that. Paying attention to where the inhale goes, softening your abdomen as you inhale. Ribs, side, and chest might fill up. Exhale starts with your navel drawing back towards your spine. Ribs hug in. The rest of the air comes out of the chest. Take 4 more breaths, just noticing being with your inhale. Experiencing that exhale as if it was all you had to do today. Pain lives in the nervous system just as much as it lives in the body. And using your breath to hone your focus in and allow the body to ground is the first step in releasing some of that pain in the body. Now we're not looking for deep sensation today. We're just looking for pain-free movement. And with your next breath in, release your hands from your belly and slide them up towards your right knee. We'll let both hands land on the right knee. Take a breath in, filling the abdomen and ribs. Slowly exhale as your navel pulls back towards your spine. Invite your thigh closer towards your chest. Just notice what happens. Breathe in, let your thigh move away from your belly. As you exhale, navel draws back, right thigh comes closer towards the chest. So right now, as you move your thigh away on the inhale and draw it towards your chest as you exhale, the knee is pointing maybe like straight towards your face, and we'll start to vary the movement. On your next exhale, as you draw your navel back, feel your left hip staying grounded on the mat and bring your right knee out to the side. Now, for some of us, when we bring the right knee out to the side, that tightness, those muscles that are constricting and protecting our low back might cause your left hip to lift up. Instead of rooting and reaching for the furthest stretch, come into that place where you feel stable. There's active range of motion out to the side. So we'll take a couple breaths like that. Maybe you rest your left hand on your left hip for feedback. Exhaling as you bring right knee out to the side. Inhaling as you move it away from the chest. One more round like that, nice and gentle. On your next exhale, start to guide your right knee toward your left shoulder. So I'm going to shift my left hand onto my right knee and bring that right knee over towards my left shoulder. Breathe in, move the thigh away from your chest. Exhale, right knee crosses the midline. 2 more breaths like that. So we're finding here some passive flexibility. Passive means that we're moving the leg with our hand. And now we'll find some active mobility through that right hip. Your hip and your low back has a really interesting relationship. When the hips feel unstable, the low back grips. So we're going to place our hands on the front of our hip points. Find that stability. Both back of your hips are in contact with the mat. And we're going to start out with small circles with that right knee. Notice if there's shifting in the hips. Maybe it doesn't feel that smooth or a bit jagged. I'm going to teach you how to use your core here to help stabilize your low back. When you breathe in, feel your ribs expand, expand, expand. Hold that sense of expansion. Draw your navel back towards your spine and hold the navel there as you move that right knee. Now you're going to need to breathe, so start to move your breath into the rib cage. 2 more breaths. Exhale, reaffirm navel to spine. Maybe that circle of that right knee gets a little bit bigger, a little wider. The next exhale, right foot plants down. Take a breath in, reaching your arms over your head. As you exhale, draw your knees into your chest. Hands come onto the knees. Gently draw them in. Take a breather. Inhale, knees move away. Exhale, knees come in. Great. Now we're going to return that right foot down to the ground. Think of that right leg as a stabilizing pillar for your pose. First couple breaths. Inhale, left knee moves away. Exhale, navel to spine. Left knee comes straight towards your left shoulder. Try that 2 or 3 times. Notice what happens in the low back as your knee draws in. There's not a right thing or a wrong thing to happen. So I just invite you to be curious about the body. After this next round, bring the left knee out to the side of your left rib cage, left side of your rib cage. Notice that right hip. Does it lift off of the ground, or can you keep it stable? Low back stable, hips mobile. Each time you breathe in, letting the thigh move away. Exhale, navel to spine. Knee comes out to the side. So we'll start to add that across the midline move. Breathe in, knee moves straight away. This time, right hand comes onto left knee. Move your left knee towards your right shoulder. Notice what happens. Breathe in, release. 2 or 3 more times. Bringing your left knee towards your right shoulder. Last round here as you breathe out. And then bring both hands to the front of your hips. Find that place where your pelvis feels stable. Your hip points are relatively aligned with each other. Right foot is acting as a stabilizer, a pillar in your pose. Those hands on your fingertips offer feedback. So when you start to mobilize your left knee, you get to notice, is it the femur, the leg bone that is moving, or is your leg bringing your hip along with you? Try to see if you can separate that movement from your hip and your low back. And you might even feel a little core work here. Invite your navel back towards your spine. Encourage the inhale to expand the rib cage. And then reverse the direction, make a wider circle. Return your left foot down to the ground. Bring both of your hands back towards the center of your navel. We're going to start with just the heels lifting up. When you lift your heels up, can you feel your core engage? Try that again. Lift your heels up. What happens underneath your hands? Keep the sides of your hip points coming towards each other, navel guiding back to your spine. And then flex your right toe off the ground. Return your right toes. Flex your left toes off the ground. Return your left toes. Take a breath in. Ribs expanding as you exhale, navel draws back. Flex both feet up and hover. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release just the right foot down. Kick your left leg up. Take a breath in, extend your arms over your head, long body stretch here. And then your next breath out, hug your left knee in. Start to walk your right leg out long on the mat. Actively reach out through that right heel. We're going to flex the right toes back and elevate the right heel from the ground. Lift your left toes up so all 10 toes are flexed. Deep breath in, reach your arms over your head. On your next exhale, curl your tailbone off the mat and lift your head up. Reach your hands, one hand on each side of your left thigh. Pause for 5, 4, 3, tailbone scooping up, 2, 1. Next breath in, both legs lift up, both arms reach over your head. As you exhale, right knee comes into the chest. Lower your left foot down, walk it out long on the mat. Actively reach out through your left heel, flexing all 10 toes back. That left heel is lifting from the ground. Take a breath in, arms come over your head. As you exhale, curl your tailbone up. Reach your hands one hand on each side of your right thigh. Think less about lifting your head up and more about inviting the ribs to be in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Next breath in, both legs lift up, both arms come over your head. As you exhale, hug your knees in. So I'll take that a couple rounds. On the inhale, legs float up, arms come out wide or overhead. Exhale, knees to chest, hands on shins. One more round. Bring your knees into your chest, roll all the way over towards your left. We're going to reach the left arm in front of us and bring our knees high up towards our chest. A lot of times back pain comes from our lower back working for our upper back, doing all the twisting, all the movement. Remember, we want that area to be stable, so we got to introduce some rotation into our upper body. Let your hands sandwich on top of each other. Reach forward through your right hand, so you're rounding your back here as you breathe in. And as you exhale, slide your right hand along the inside of the left arm, bringing right hand to right chest, and then pointing the right elbow behind you. Let your head roll with the chest, neck, and shoulders. Each time you breathe in, turn back, round the chest, reaching forward with that right arm. See if your neck can stay relaxed, just rolling on the ground beneath you as you draw the right hand back and come into your twist. One more time like that. Maybe your knees get a little movement as you exhale and come into the twist. There might be some shifting in the knees, hips. Pause here. Take 3 breaths in, 3 breaths out. Noticing where the breath goes as you breathe in. If you can meet your inhale with a complete exhale. And turning back over, palms together. We're going to press ourselves up and switch sides. Bring your legs over. Rest on your right side, reach your right hand forward and let your head slowly knock off. So you're not holding your head up, you're letting it respond to gravity and drop down. Take an inhale, left hand reaches forward, let your back round here. As you start to exhale, slide your left hand back to your chest. Let your left elbow point behind you, your head turns with your neck, chest, and shoulders. And breathing in, hands back together. 2 to 4 times on your own breath. Let your exhale lead, navel to spine as you twist. And then this time or next time, pause in your twist. Let your hands stay on your heart so there's support there. Closing the eyes. Maybe repositioning the head so the neck is 5% more comfortable. And slowly turn back to where you twisted from. Roll onto your back if you have your block or your blanket, rolled up towel, anything you got. Shift that right underneath the back of your hips. Now there is going to be a Goldilocks spot that you're going to want to find. So find that position where the low back feels nice and long. Almost like the front of the hips and the abdomen could release. And then if that feels comfortable here, you can stay here for a couple breaths, finding that neutral spine. Or maybe you elevate the legs. If you'd like to elevate the legs, let your knees bend. Give your ankles a little turn from side to side in a circle. And we call this waterfall pose. I always tell folks who are wanting to start a yoga pose or a yoga practice, if there is one pose for them to do, legs up the wall. You got the support for your back. This is a mock version of legs up the wall without the wall. Key is make sure the low back is relaxed and let your knees bend so that you feel truly held and supported here. Pause here, extend your arms out. Watch the exhale move out of the body. And as you're ready, slowly lower one foot down at a time. You might still be in just bridge pose with your feet lower. That's a perfect place to pause. We'll take one deep breath in, pressing down through our feet. Feel your hips lift off the block. Notice the back of your neck lengthening. Pause for another breath in. Ribs are expanding here. Exhale, navel draws back to your spine. Use this opportunity while the hips are lifted to shift the block out to the side. And slowly roll your spine down. So think, okay, upper back and neck is already connected to the ground. How could I move down just a little bit, inch by inch? Once you bring your whole back down, go ahead and windshield wipe your legs side to side, rinse it out. Slowly roll all the way over to one side. Bring yourself up to a comfortable seat. So that can be legs crossed, it can be sitting on your shins or moving to the side. Rest your hands down at your knees and pause with your eyes closed here for a moment. If you still have that block and comfortable seat doesn't feel too comfortable, you can always slip that block underneath the back of your hips. And you're really just offering yourself a moment or two to notice what the practice has done for your body. And joining your palms together in front of your chest, allow your thumbs to rest on your chest. And allow your chest to be that supporting lift in the body. And as the chest lifts up, could your shoulders soften? Knowing that no matter the way and no matter the obstacle, We have a constant line of communication built within our bodies, between our breath and our mind. And as yoga practitioners, we're just opting in to listen to that conversation. More than anything, this is a listening practice. And if your body told you anything interesting today, things that it liked, things that it didn't like, take that into account. Remember that. Come back to this practice again and notice if it's any different. Namaste.